So, what actually does caring through sharing for myself mean? It means that I'm possible within all that is given, within the physical reality of I am here in the here and now, breathing, and I'm doing a video, and I'm uploading that into the social networks of the mainstream internet media, which is then, of course, YouTube, and this is to be considered on my YouTube page, and it's able to anybody who considers to, of course, within regards, thank you for listening to this. If you are considered to be watching and listening to me, what does this actually mean? Instead, to abuse it means to be able to have a perspective outside of the box and seeing that if we do not, as in the democratical what is best for all effort of using common sense within that, standing together in a peaceful way, one by one, and confronting something as a whole lot of work for oneself, to be the one who decides to work for what is best for all, as life considers to create a future, which would be in that deconstructing a broken and totally messed up capitalistic ideal of not even man is in response of the economic system, but the algorithms of the artificial intelligence machinery of given these efforts of having achieved something technologically definitely astonishing, but it would not be in the hands of what is alive, but in the artificial intelligence mathematical machinery. It is being used on Wall Street already, and that's no secret. Instead of those who are not aware of this, one should do some research upon what is actually myself doing in the capitalistic system, as I do not even understand the money system. One should do some homework and do some research upon that, because if you're not able to explain what is in your pocket as money, and you use it, and you only use it for your efforts of within what is available in the shops and what is available in your fridge, and what is then necessary to stop what is to be surviving, needs to be understood. To why do I have to actually survive within what is been given to me as life, as I've been born into this world and into the arms of an economical masterpiece created over time in the last centuries throughout the system, which would be the system of having to be confronted, if I don't survive, I'll die, is inevitably to be considered throughout a system that is being created by abuse, and a system which is best for all, considering oneself, not separating oneself and not isolating oneself from this, means to work for something that is understood, that each one of us in a democratic system has to stand as equal as one within the neighborhood of man, to do something to keep this system of democracy alive, instead of denying this whole effort, of not taking this choice, of considering who am I actually, and then making something that is suddenly not anymore considered understandable, when the democratic system suddenly shuts down and another system sets in, and then is considerably the law which one has to live in, and which would be to be not taking self-responsibility as a democratic, peaceful part of a solution, as to be self-honest towards oneself, to confront oneself, to be a part of democracy, either than to be part of anything else. That is then the confrontation of tomorrow's future, so to say, and giving the work to those again who would be the ones who are in the future generations of those who are unborn yet, to be working within a system of total devastation and not being able to work that out, is to understand, to know why we are here, is because of the mistakes of our ancestors. And it's in no way to be blamed, as the ancestors are not to be blamed because of the system mess which we are in, and we would be confronted within a future which is not best for all suddenly. And then know to honor the ancestors, that's why we are here, is clear. By if you'd not be able to follow this and rather watch and listen to what I say and justify some kind of this is all rubbish, well, it's your decision to do so, but it would not within that take a common sense as an awareness issue towards understanding what I'm talking about, instead of taking anything else than common sense, which would be then a justification to blame anybody, to be anything but a senseful, a common sense based equation, like a typical mathematical one, like 1 + 1 = 2. And not anything else like vanilla split or banana split or vanilla ice cream. That's something else. That's materialism, and that's possibly very, 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 very tasteful, but it's got nothing to do within the research of preventing something that is then not considered to be stopped, so to say. So within the times of now, very, very interesting and fascinating times, I can say, which within my research I found out to be not quite easy for each one to be confronting oneself, it is still possible. It is still possible to just take a moment of time and step back and relax and take a breath, and then self-awarely listen towards what is in self actually not honest, and self-dishonesty would then echo within the point where when one sets in to confront that and to become self-honest is probably for oneself the decision to take. This choice is given. As one breath can change that in a complete future to be created, which is best for all and for oneself, equally as life, would be then to stop fighting, meaning confronting others, to blame others, meaning confronting self, to understand self-honesty is only created through the manifestation of coming back to self and to reaching out a hand towards what is inside, as the characterization of self is then self-realizing the character of self, and not continuing within the efforts of the mind bubbles, so to say, keeping thoughts within and not being able to express them, as to be then stopped by the ego measurements of many personalities, which one would be creating throughout the individual paramount of fear that has been created. And this paramount of fear, in a way of perspecting it outside of the box, would mean to have built up upon fear something that is able to being lost, and which would be then either ways the constructs within the system in the hierarchical self-created unawareness of a system being alive, then a loss of status, a loss of friends, a loss of love, for example. Very, very important issue, that love can only be created throughout a self-honest realization of self-manifestation, creating the character, instead of listening to the many personalities and hiding them, and then not being able to express what is actually going on in one's mind work within the mind. And that means not being able to understand that this mind work, such to say, is created upon a fundament of abuse. So the paramount of fear that one has created and believed in the reality that this is who I am would not be able towards the many, many personalities one has towards each other individual throughout the continuance of the system which we are all living in. Meaning, individual X, so to say. I continue in part 5.